Go ahead, Kiram.
I was just going to say thank you. It looks comprehensive and very applicable and educative. My question is, to what extent does the course actually support us as practitioners, not just as understanding, appreciation, etc.? The application. I hear the altar stuff, Will.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering otherwise.
You know, I anatomize a constellation for you in chapter 2 in terms of the various stages, what you need to be trying to do during those various stages, what techniques you can apply when and why and how. This is very, very down to earth and practical. And then the thing is, we take those exact same guidelines and we flip over to the private constellation, the tabletop, the home altar, and we alter those guidelines a little bit. It's the same stuff. Same exact stuff. Same kind of stages, same 8 or 9 techniques now that we're applying them a little differently, but same stuff. I started out as a cognitive scientist. And the game that we played was, how do we create algorithms? How do we create, how does the brain understand a metaphor? We weren't talking about neurology. We were building more like computer models, and the computer models were pretty damn crude. So, the game that I've played all through my life is to figure out kind of what the underlying pattern is and what people are doing, and then make it explicit. So the 9 techniques in chapter 2 and then chapter 4, basically they're all the things I saw my teachers doing, but my teachers never named them. They never gave me a list of them. It's not their thing. That's my thing. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I work. So I believe you'll find that this is very powerful practical training. And again, I'm of the opinion, I haven't sold it to the rest of the constellation community yet, but I'm of the opinion that really, in addition to the group trainings that people take, they really ought to do the home altar work. It really frees you from handling a group at the beginning is just too much. Not only are you not told the techniques, all right, you're just so much of the experiential training is just like you watch a constellation, somebody does it, then you have like this little discussion afterwards about this and that and the other thing. Nobody's pointing out, I did this because, or they, so on and so forth. So I think you'll find it's very practical, super practical. Who else? Talk to me.
Izzy has a question.
Oh, well, actually, it was more a reflection for
We'll reflect.
In addition to what Michael just responded to, Karim. I mean, for me, it's kind of what I said at the beginning. Having been exposed to constellations for 11 years, and done the normal kind of training, I intuitively knew how to do constellations, but I didn't actually realize what I was doing until I did Michael's course. And so now when it just allowed me to drop so much more easily, to really be so okay with sitting with the unknown, because I knew that if there was nothing arising, I could just go to my little internal list, indoctrinated, with Michael's classes and the books, so easy to follow, and just go, okay, well, if nothing's arising, let's try this.
Yep.
Let's just see, how about if we do this, how does it fit? And it just allowed me to know that although I like to think that my intuition of picking up the field is what's, primarily there in place, I had backup inside my cognitive, but if nothing was arising, then this, you could try this, you could try this, there was just all this stuff that before I mean, it was amazing doing the course that I realized how much I knew that I didn't realize that I was doing. But it just really did for me give me a very, very practical framework. And the metaphors just help. Anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. One of the metaphors that I've started using recently is this one. These guidelines that I give you, they're like the landing gear on an airplane. They allow your intuition to take off and fly. If you have an airplane with no landing gear, it's up there, but it can't get down to earth and explain to people what the hell it's doing, and it can't, when it, I mean, I won't pull the metaphor too far, but they're the training wheels. I expect this will train your intuition. I'm telling you, it will train your intuition. And I don't think about these techniques at all anymore, but I'm still doing them. I'm rolling through them very quickly in different ways.
I have to say, having listened to you and Izzy, I also do get the feeling that it's really providing a framework, background that can integrate so that the phenomenological method can just happen much more easily.
Yeah. But again, people in the United States anyway, they don't know what the hell the phenomenological method means in a way. And the explanations of it don't make cognitive sense. The explanations are, I'm only seeing what is. Nobody sees what is. Everybody.
That's because we're all in our head. Most of us are in our heads or our hearts. We're not in our full bodies.
Well, that's true. But even if you get past that, you're still subjective. There's no way around that. There isn't any objective stuff out there. All right. The best we can do is work towards an overlap of our inevitable subjectivity, right? And build out of that some kind of communal understanding. But it's not given. There's no. Anyway, that gets sort of philosophical. Who else?
Christina has her hand up.
Go ahead.
So I've been doing a little happy dance over here because of the resonance of what you're speaking about with the inner parts. Because that, before I was exposed to constellations, or actually constellations, me doing it in other groups is what allowed all of my parts to really emerge safely. And it didn't, but I wasn't given that context there. It was always about someone in your family line, like a real specific person. But so all of my work the past 4 or 5 years has all been about my inner characters, is what I call them. And I use altars a lot with my clients, and what I'm creating is a program to help people really get their inner peeps in line so that they can move together as a unit. And I have a performance art piece that's all done around this. And what I'm feeling is like, wow, this feels really like it could be a very concrete way to help others really get a handle on those different beings that are competing and distracting and not allowing that flow to happen. So would you agree with me that this?
Oh yeah, I'll do a happy dance too now.
Yeah.
There's a book called Internal Family Systems Therapy by Richard Schwartz. I think it's Richard or Robert. Your inner parts, your inner personality parts, they are all reactions for or against the people in your birth family, in your developmental family. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, when you start work on this inner family level, a lot of times, the part that's like one of my parts is the one that both loved dad and was beaten up by dad. Do you understand me? Yes. It's formed around my father. Yes. So I mean, I had to do certain ancestral work with my father, or I wouldn't be alive right now. Constellation saved my life. Read the prologue to the book. It's the truth.
Excellent.
But it They're all connected.
They are. And I mapped after speaking with one of my teachers, I did go back and map all of my characters, and many of them are a grandfather or they definitely carry that energy of what was not allowed in them. And it's right here, right now. And it's really so helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful to integrate them. So I work with a lot of young people, and it kind of rites of passage initiatory processes that's been primarily shamanic, but this feels like it would be a really sweet way to ground it with some science. I love that
Cool.
your models and visuals that really help support it and ground it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy
Okay.
dance here too. Okay, the question is, have I been able to successfully practice across culture, race, socioeconomic backgrounds? Certainly people from different countries, certainly different genders, certainly different ages. I don't get access to Native Americans. I don't get access to Black Americans. I don't know of any reason why this would not work. It's a very concrete, action-oriented method. But, I can't go further than that in terms of what I've actually experienced. Okay, the question here is, family similar to whole-on from integral theory? Everything is a whole-on. Everything is a whole composed of parts. Which parts are wholes composed of parts? I mean, there's kind of no stopping it. On every level, it's the same thing.
I'd just like to say, Michael, thanks. I'm really excited. Looking forward to doing it.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just wanted to say one more thing when the question was about cultural, that I know at least two people who do. There's, of course, Francesca Boring, who does a lot of Native American stuff. And then Danny Doyle here is an incredible Aboriginal guy who does constellations with his mob everywhere all over Australia. So it's very multicultural. I just wanted to say it.
Thank you. This is kind of a quick overview, and maybe also a sense of how I teach and talk and present things. I work hard to give good graphic examples. I don't have too many of them here, but they exist. I don't know. What do you think? Where are we? Your turn. Somebody who hasn't spoken yet. Again, a lot of this depends on what you want from me. Michael loves questions. No, I do, because they bring out stuff. They tell me what you want. They tell me what you need. Right?
Yep.
This is a diverse group, but it's already a very good group. You can see there's a lot of variety and there's a lot of depth here, as well as a lot of people from different parts of the world. Thank you all for being here. Look like a great group already. Okay. Thank you all. Hang in there. Live life. Enjoy.